Yo, we're back breaking down another tune. This time we're breaking down S-Dog in the house.
Sluggy, what you saying, man? I stepped in, look sharp like razor. I look smart, but I don't rock a blazer.
But at the same time, I'm going to be teaching you how to make the UKG, like Jackin house style beats. If you've heard this tune already and you really like all the sounds in the tune and you want to know where you can get the exact sounds from, I'm going to tell you at the end of the video, so make sure you stick around and I'll tell you where you can get these exact sounds from. So here we are in the project. At the top here, we've just got all S-Dog's vocals who rapped on the tune. I'm just going to go through the drums first of all because it's just that simple, you know, typical beat that you get in the house tunes. Got a filter on it at the beginning just to bring the track in. Skip it forward a bit. So yeah, just a typical beat, nothing crazy. Sounds are kind of different to what you would usually hear. Like I went a bit different with it because it's sort of a garagey tune. The kicks kind of sounds a bit weird, but that was just like sort of on its own. It don't sound that great, but in their mix, it sounds good if you get what I mean. So I've cut a lot of the highs and stuff like that, and also a lot of the lows. But that's just because this song is so bassy and subby that it was making it muddy, if not. And also the highs, I just didn't want it too clicky and stuff like that. Processing wise, just got a bus on the whole drums with a compressor on it, and also using the Slate Digital Virtual Mix Rack here with the mix bus punch. I do that on every song I do with the bus, just dial them in, just makes the drums hit harder. I'll play you the drums without those two things on just so you can hear the difference it's making. So that's without, add the compressor, and then add the virtual mix rack. Virtual mix rack like definitely helps the highs and it just makes it a bit crispier, and then obviously the compressor, it just makes it punchier, cuts through, makes it more solid throughout. But yeah, not going to go too much over the drums because like I say, it's just your typical house beat. And like I said, these sounds will be available at the end of the video. So let's get into the synthy part. So yeah, that's a synthy part, that's a main bones of the track. We've also just got this string at the beginning. But again, that's super typical in your house tunes. So first of all, we've just got this key. Again, all the lows cut on that because I didn't want anything interfering with that sub. Also put RC20 on this. That's just to give it that mega width because it's got a width dial on here. There's obviously other ways to get width other than RC20, but also I just really like the saturation that this offers. Definitely recommend this plugin. You can make some super cool sounds, like spaces does the reverby sound. You've got a bit of distortion, wobble, you know, all the sounds do what they basically sound like they do. But yeah, you can also add a bit of vinyl noise if you like that, but it didn't really suit this sort of track. That keys noise was layered with strings. And then there's another chord later on which the keys doesn't play, it's just the strings. And then that just loops around. Yeah, then we've just got this pluck noise. All this stuff has kickstarts on it to sidechain. All sidechain to the kick as you'd expect. So that's why it's got this like constant movement about it. Just a bit of EQ to boost the highs on that. Got this saturation here, bit of distortion on it, just makes it a bit crisper, cuts through more. And again, RC20 on it, just for more saturation, bit of space. Now moving on to the bass line. Super typical Jackin house tune. Well, Jackin house style bass. I did mess with this bass a bit. The bare bones of it came from a Sam Smyers preset, but I did play around with it, and unfortunately I can't tell you exactly what I did because I don't remember. But I'm gonna, like I say, make this sound available for you at the end of the video. So processing wise, put R bass on it, which is a waves plugin, just adds lots of saturation to your low end. Really helps just boost that sub. If I turn it off, you'll hear a lot of the sub goes back on. It's there. again, this is actually a free plugin, Softtube, so check this out. Love this plugin. It's so good on like bass and stuff like that. So yeah, added that again for saturation. We've got Pro Q3 on this. So we've boosted some of the subs here, but only in the middle. That's what's great about this FabFilters plugin. You can boost frequencies, but just at certain points in the stereo field. So we boosted the sub in the mid. I've cut out the sub in the like stereo, so the width. So basically all the bass now from this sound is mono. What I've done here, I've taken some of the mids out at like 800 hertz and boosted it at the sides. This is to leave sort of that middle bit for the vocals to sit in, so it's not clashing too much, but then it's filling it back out in the side, so it's also making the track feel wider, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's a great technique that I use a lot to help the vocals sit nicely in the track, but you know, it doesn't take away from it too much, also makes it sound wider, bigger, all that. So yeah, that's the only bass sound that's sort of carrying the track. They're the main melodic sounds. So we've also got this backing vocal here, which is just a splice sample, but I've added little alter boy just to give it that high noise, but it's not fully on wet, so it's a bit of a mix, but that just helps it cut through a bit more. And then I've used Effects Rack, which is a Sound Toys plugin, and that's what's giving it that sort of after effects of like echoing on, so that, you know, it keeps going. If I turn that off, play it, just stops like that. But yeah, this just really helps fill out that like space, I guess. If you listen to the track normally, you probably wouldn't notice it, but it just fills out the track massively. So just try have a listen for it now.
Wheel drifting, cars on the mid, so we're missioning. T4, white man's glistening, blue lights flash, I'm dipping. Decamp the car and we're dipping.
So you can hear it's super subtle, but it is there and it's filling out that space. A lot of this track, it is like subtle bits that are just sort of filling it out in the gaps, even to the point of the strings and the little bells.
Stepped in, look sharp like razor. I look smart, but I don't rock a blazer.
There's just some more drum loops, which again, nothing that interesting.
Shit go out on my hands, multiple payment plans, fresh off a driving.
That's just to help sort of bring more movement to the track. Added lots of little nice sound effects here, which is always good in your tracks. We've obviously got the typical riser and crash here. I'll just solo those. Nothing out of the ordinary. What I did do is I sort of added a lot of sounds in there that related to the words that S-Dog was saying. So we've got like the sword noise, a bottle pop, all that stuff. So I'll just play you those now so you can listen out for them. But lots of little ear candy like this will just make your track so much more interesting.
I'm like razor, I look smart but I don't rock a blazer. Pop bottles get whacked with the flavour, I'm straight to the point like laser.
So yeah, we've just got like the boxing bell, the laser sound, the sword sound, all that stuff. Just makes it a lot cooler, a lot more emphasis on what he's saying. Instrumental wise, that's pretty much it. Super simple, but lots of detail, if that makes sense. We do just have this bridge bit here.
Your life was rough, but I'm shining again. And if my boys got beef, I'm riding with them. And if the shit don't stop, then we're riding again.
So we've just got a couple of synth basses, similar processing on all of them to like what I've used throughout the track. That's just a pluck, but playing a different rhythm. We've got this synth here. Sounds sick. Another one. A sub. So yeah, but this sound in particular is just sick. Like I say, I'm going to make that available for you guys. Another interesting thing about this bridge is just these strings that build it up. But again, that's something that's super in the background, but it just builds tension that you might not notice, but it is there, and it just helps build it up, keeps that suspense. That's sort of something I've taken from like commercial house tracks to do that a lot, like just before the drop to open it up and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a cool technique that you can use. Yeah, we've just got a typical snare build up. I put loads of like echo and delay and shit on it there just to like make it sound super crazy. So yeah, that goes a bit mad, but again, I'll make that available to you. Yeah, that's basically the full track breakdown. If you haven't listened to this track, then I'll leave it into the description. As promised, if you want any of the sounds from this song, I've made it available on my website to get as a pack. I've made it super cheap, super affordable. It's no more than a Mac is. So yeah, if you want to get your hands on these sounds, it'd be perfect for making these sort of beats. And yeah, you can just rinse them as much as you want. So yeah, check that out. I'll leave the link in the description. Yeah, check out this full song if you haven't yet. Thank you for watching as always. Don't forget to hit subscribe, drop a like, appreciate it always, and I'll see you next Monday.